Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. All plays. Whole sports all plays. We making up the name, talking the game, get you to the days. We're hiding the hope, denying the time, providing options, on the same, all the sports information, we're sticking in, we're sticking in all places, all places. Whole sports all plays.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen and ladies. The day has finally arrived. We are finally here. We are at the all-female show, the Sports Senseis, y'all. It's an all-female podcast. We're going to be talking about all the latest sports about the NFL, NBA, all things. But it's all ran by all women. I'm so excited, ladies. Are y'all ready for this? Do y'all realize we're making history right now?
Yes, let's do it.
We are in the right now, so we are definitely making history. I'm super excited to have you guys on. So before we get started, I want to introduce my co-host and our special, as well as our special guest. So I'm going to start out with my girl Jay because we locked in first. Jay is a 2019 ESPN San Antonio Radio Rock the Mic first runner-up out of men and women. So please, y'all, make some noise. Show some love to our girl Jay down in the right corner. My good sis. How are you doing today, sis? What's going on? How are you feeling? What's the vibe?
I'm doing good. Excited to be here. Excited to talk sports with you ladies. We're going to get it. I know we're going to get it. Man, we're going to get into it. I'm super, super excited. Very humbled and blessed for this opportunity. But, let's do it.
For sure. And then my second co-host, we just locked in earlier today. But we got Ruth the Truth in the house. What's going on, Ruth? How are you doing?
What's up, ladies? I'm doing well. It's Monday, so the week is kicking off. I'm ready to kick ass for this week. And we got some wild card games coming up. So I'm really excited. It's playoff time, it's kind of hit or miss for me because I get excited about playoffs, but it's just we know that the NFL is coming to an end. And I don't know about you ladies, but I always get that Super Bowl hangover no matter who goes to the Super Bowl. And it's always kind of disheartening when the NFL season is over. But it's been a good season. It's been a good run. Regular season is over, and I'm ready to see the Super Bowl. Let's go.
Factual. Now, really quick, if you could let the people know about your podcast, because I know you have your own podcast and you do a couple different shows and things of that nature. So go ahead and promote yourself a little bit. Let the people know what exactly you have going on right now.
Thank you. I'm all over the place. I started this podcasting thing about a year and a half ago, and I've just kind of been all over the place. I started my own network called Beauty in the Cleats. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter. It's me and Christina, the Tampa Sports Bae, where we talk all Tampa sports. I'm also on a show called The Tom Gronkowski Show. I'm the main host with the Fans Only Sports Network. So give us a follow on Facebook. I go live every Wednesday from 9 to 10 with my co-host, Coach Jay Morgan, and we focus just on Bucks and the NFC South, as well as a lot of NFL talk as well. And yeah, I'm just doing a little bit of everything. I just signed with a new network called NSPN, which is an up-and-coming network that focuses on all Central Florida sports. So that's another thing. I'm doing a little bit of writing, doing a little bit of broadcasting, a little bit of everything. And there's an arena indoor football alliance that is actually kicking off in March. And I was at the press conference, and I got to meet the commissioners, all the head coaches from all the teams all around the United States. So I'm really excited for that to be kicking off in March. And I'm trying to get the game day host position because they have a team here in Tampa called the Tampa Bay Cyclones. So crossing my fingers for that. But a lot of great stuff coming in 2022. Let's do it.
That's what's up. Well, congrats to you, and definitely salute to you on that. And I know you're going to get that position. Now, Jay, as well, I wanted to make sure I got this in with you too. What are you currently? I know you currently have your own shows as well because you do a show like right after this. So make sure you stuff also in as well. Let the people know what you're a part of too, sis.
Yes. Sports by the Numbers on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, San Antonio. Tonight, 8 p.m. Central. We got my co-host is a former pro wideout overseas, and he's our SBTN NFL analyst, Damon Bird II. Excited to have him. We have an avid Cowboys fan jumping in tonight. One of my good friends, Albert Lopez. We're gonna have him on the show. But yeah, my show's been going on for a year. I just renewed my contract on the 4th. Next week is Sports by the Numbers birthday, MLK Day. First African American woman to host her own sports radio show in San Antonio. So we're gonna do a big birthday celebration next week. It's MLK Day, so happy birthday to Sports by the Numbers next week. Last night I guest hosted for Sweep the League Radio. So my brother Rudy Campos Jr. His show, filled in for him. He's actually at the national championship game covering it. So I filled in for him last night. And then Sports Time, I've been guest co-host on Sports Time with Carolina Teague. I know we got her coming in a couple of weeks. That's my girl CT. Yeah, so just doing and loving all things sports, and hey, gotta represent gotta represent Chicago, from Chicago. I know I'm wearing this Cowboys hat. You gotta cheer for the home team, right? I went to a Cowboys game a couple weeks ago, but all that good stuff.
All right. Well, I appreciate that, Jay. Now, without further ado, we want to get to our guest. Thank you. So, first of all, thank you for filling in, because we were supposed to have our guest, Kelsey Nicole, but she had a last minute gig. So get your money, sis. I salute that.
You get that bag, girl.
Yeah, go get that bag. Good luck tonight with the college football game. That's what she had to go attend to, but she'll be on next week. But we do have a really special guest as well. We've locked in before on ASAP Network. So to the world and to everyone else, welcome Rachel Hill to the show, guys. Super happy to have you on, sis. Hey, like I said, I know it was last minute, but thank you for coming in and filling in. We definitely appreciate it. Now, Rachel, if you could give the people as well a rundown of what you do, what you're a part of right now. I know you're out of Cleveland, Ohio. Am I correct?
Yes, I'm out of Cleveland, Ohio. So I host my own sports talk show on WOVU 95.9 FM called Her in the Huddle. We're on Monday through Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. We've been on a little hiatus because of the holidays and I've been sick. So I'm looking forward to coming back in studio and getting back in there. But, I've been doing sports since about 2005 and I love it. So a ton of radio, did a little TV work as well. So, I'm here to talk all sports, even hockey. So I love sports, always love sports. And I'm just happy to always be able to connect with women who love sports because, it's funny, like I'll talk to a guy and they'll be like, well, I didn't know you knew about sports. Well, why did you assume that I didn't?
Got him.
Man, if I had $1 for every time I heard that, I would be Kim Kardashian wealthy.
Exactly. But you stereotyped me, right? So, but love being able to connect with like-minded women and talk sports with women. And Her in the Huddle, I do my on Mondays, I'm with my co-host, so she's a woman. And then on Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm with two guys. So I enjoy it. I love it. And talking sports is what I love to do. So
hold it down, sis.
Congratulations to you ladies. I'm super excited for what you guys are able to do and what you guys will be bringing to the sports game. So I'm just, here to fully support you guys however I can.
Thank you.
And I actually linked up with Rachel Hill when I was working with Shake Back podcast with Willie Epstein, and that was the first time that I was introduced to Miss Rachel, and she's very knowledgeable, so I'm really excited for this conversation.
Yeah, I know. Ruth, you everywhere, Ruth.
I literally, I get hit up all the time, and I'm like, you know what? Let's go. Let's run it. The more I can talk, that's what I'm here for.
Honestly, and I got to salute Rachel because for the simple fact that she was, the first time I met Rachel, she was on the ASAP Network, and we're crazy over there. So I'm just happy that she wants to come back and deal with me again because I know sis was probably like, these people are nuts. But
absolutely. I love every minute of it. So
I appreciate that, sis. Well, so let's jump right in. So before we get into the sports topics, Rachel, we do want to have a little bit of fun with you really quick, just ask you a few questions if you don't mind. So right now I'm gonna start with this is just a quick little fun game here. What are your top 5 sports moments in Cleveland history? It doesn't matter what sport it is. It doesn't matter the order you put. Well, actually, it does matter the order you put it in. Because I'm just interested to see, as somebody who's from out that way, what's the most meaningful moments for you? Like top 5 Cleveland sports history moments ever. And the number 1 better be the one that I'm thinking of, because if it's not, I walk it off.
I was able to chop the list down because there's only been one event, and that's the only one I've ever been alive for. So I'm able to chop that list down to 1, and that is the Cleveland Cavaliers winning the 2016 NBA Finals. That's been the only one. I live in Cleveland. You guys know what's up with Cleveland. How we never win anything. And, we have all the videos to prove it. So that's the only thing we've ever won. The people can say the 1964 NFL championship, but I wasn't alive for that. My parents were in there and just moving to double digits in their ages. So that's been the only one for me. So sorry, I had to cut that loose.
And it was against the 72 win Golden State Warriors, which was the biggest accomplishment for that championship. I was actually hosting I guess a little basketball. I always try to have my friends over when it comes to these big championship games. And I'm not a LeBron lover. I respect the man. I respect his game, but I usually go for whatever team is playing against LeBron. So sorry, Kobe. Right now, I'm not a Lakers fan just because that's how that rolls with me. But man-wise, I disappointed the kind of season that the Golden State Warriors had, 72 wins, and then for them to lose to the Cavaliers, it was one of the biggest upsets that I could think of when it comes to the NBA.
But then also think about how they came from behind 3-1. Ty Lue said, if you don't believe that we can win, don't get on this plane.
Yeah.
And everybody got on the plane, so they believe they can win, and they won. And you guys have to admit it's one of the greatest, victories in the history of sports for our little forsaken town.
Yeah, I got to have a little conversation with Ty Lue actually about that series, because tell me how in 2017, I want to say it was a week after the Golden State Warriors won the national championship with Kevin Durant defeating LeBron James and the Cavaliers, and Ty Lue walks into my restaurant that I work at and
really?
sat at my bar as I'm bartending. I had to go check myself because I was just like, is this really happening? Like someone's playing a sick joke on me. So it was awesome to talk to him about that whole experience, about how that all went down. And we actually ended up being friends after that. So yeah, everything happens for a reason.
Tell Ty I said what's up, and we're eternally grateful for him for winning that title for us.
Absolutely. Oh, he's over there in LA trying to make it happen with the Clippers. It's a little bit disheartening that they don't have Kawhi. I mean, throughout this whole season where he's been at, I don't know. Paul George can't do it on his own. So we'll see how their season ends up. But at least making it to a Western Conference Finals last season was a good accomplishment, since the Clippers have never even been in a Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, I'm happy for him, and I always wish him the best. Just like Kyrie. I know we're going to get to Kyrie a little bit later, but go ahead with your questions. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. And Ruth, I didn't know that you rooted against LeBron. That's going to be a problem for me.
It's gonna be 2 against 1 over here, Ruth. That's my duty. But I appreciate that you said you respect him, though, because I'm like, if you cannot, but respect the man, respect his game, respect what he's done.
So let me tell you how this happened. All right, so I'm a huge Orlando Magic fan. Obviously, I spent 21 years of my life living in Orlando, and I was a huge T-Mac fan. So I loved the Orlando Magic. Used to go to all the games at the Amway Arena, all that. So I believe it was the 2014 playoffs when they still had Hedo Turkoglu for the Orlando Magic, which was one of my favorite guards in the league. We were down in the fourth quarter, and Hedo makes an amazing shot, okay, to put them in the lead of 2 points, right? There's 0.06 seconds left on the clock, okay? I'm already celebrating. I'm running around the house. I'm like, oh, Mom, we won. I'm freaking out. 0.06 seconds left on the clock was all LeBron needed, because all they needed to do was inbound the ball. He throws it up. Didn't even look like he looked at where he was aiming the ball.
I remember this.
And, that was when I was like, oh, yeah? Okay. So that's when my hate for LeBron started, because I was so disappointed.
That's understandable, too.
But they knocked us out the playoffs.
Huh?
What?
The Magic knocked us out the playoffs.
I know, but I was still mad about that game. I hold grudges.
Man.
Hey, the team that beat your team is an enemy of yours. You're like, no, I can never ride with you.
Right, you take it personal, you know?
Right.
You act like they stole your lunch money. Like, it's bad.
No.
And then obviously I started doing some sports betting after I graduated high school, which is never a good idea. And I lost $200. I believe it was 2012. I lost $200 on betting against LeBron. I wanted the Pacers to win that series, and LeBron got the job done, and I lost a lot of money.
Well, see, sis, this sounds like a self-inflicted problem. This ain't
Right.
This ain't LeBron. Like that's your
Right.
you
Right.
What you doing?
But now, going forward, so I know you guys, the other ladies have questions for you too as well, Rachel. So Ruth, we'll go ahead and start with you. If you want to go ahead and chime in with your question for our good sis Rachel Hughes.
So I want to talk about the Cleveland Browns. All right. Big disappointment this season. Why do you think that they decided to play Baker week in and week out, knowing that he had that torn right labrum in his shoulder? Why do you think that they risked it when it comes to a quarterback that could be the future of a franchise?
Well, Baker told him he ready to go and set to go, so they played him. It's a tough situation. Obviously we know that he was hurt and he probably shouldn't been playing. And Case Keenum should have probably been playing. And who knows what would have happened with that? We probably wouldn't be making the playoffs, but you never know. So far, Case is 2-0. He beat the Bengals yesterday, and then they also beat the Denver Broncos Thursday Night Football. So it was a tough situation. But Baker said he wanted to play, and they said he wasn't that injured in which he couldn't play. The harness was supposed to have helped him, and he was good to go. So everybody's saying Baker is tough, and all this other stuff, but I don't believe that Baker should have kept playing, especially if this is an injury that's not going to heal over the season and it's going to be a problem. I don't believe he should have kept playing. But, they listened to their quarterback and then they backtrack saying, well, his injuries shouldn't be an excuse. Well, they kind of are. Baker Mayfield is a very polarizing figure here, and either people love him or they hate him. And, the injuries were a perfect opportunity to be bashed. I kind of feel sorry for him. And rarely ever do I feel sorry for millionaires because I'm a thousandaire. But yeah, I rarely feel sorry for them ever. But, I just kind of feel sorry for the way everything went down because Cleveland wants Baker Mayfield to be good. We want him to be good. We want him to be great. But, his throws, he wasn't accurate. That's one thing he was known for, the inaccuracy. Also, too, there was little things that cost us. When you look at the Kansas City Chiefs game, how we couldn't, how you had the lead, you let them come back. When you look at the Chargers game, those are two games in which you had leads and you allowed the team to come back. And, whether or not these were – somebody was asking me today, who do I blame? And I blame everybody as a whole. I blame Baker. I'm like, everybody can get it. I blame Baker for a lot, being inaccurate, throwing interceptions, but also it's the offense too. It's the offensive line. They didn't protect for him like they normally protect for him because they were one of the best lines in the league. Jedrick Wills was hurt all year. So, when you're left tackle, that's a problem, not being in sync. Having, a whole bunch of rotation players at that left tackle spot, which is, I believe, the most important spot on the offensive line. But it's just so hard to put it into words because there's a lot of drama out in Berea right now. And I'm sure you guys have heard about Mary Kay Cabot and her tweets. And everything Mary Kay says is true and is sourced very well. So the dysfunction that you guys are hearing about is true. Baker Mayfield wanting to trade is true. All of it is true.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be interesting what they do in the offseason because they're going to be searching for his replacement. And I look at it like this. If they wanted Baker, they would have re-signed him to a contract. The Lamar situation is a little different. His mama is a lawyer. He had COVID 50,000 times. So that situation is a little different. But if they wanted him, they would have re-signed him. And also remember, this regime didn't pick him. He was a John Dorsey pick. So they're not married to Baker. So this team will have a different quarterback. He still has this season left, in his contract. But they'll be looking for somebody else. But it's just a cluster in Berea. And I don't know how it's going to play out. But if anything, I think it's going to play out. Baker isn't going to be a part of this team. The Odell situation was drama filled. She was right about that as well. He was mad at OBJ because he tried to, get OBJ requested a trade in the offseason. And Baker thought by going to Yosemite and taking all these trips and stuff, he'd get Odell to buy in. Odell didn't buy in. And also, he dropped a couple passes on fourth down, critical passes. So Baker said, I'm not going to throw him no more. And you guys saw he didn't. And then OBJ's daddy got involved, and you guys know what happened with that. So it's very dysfunctional in Berea. But this is good dysfunction compared to the last dysfunction that we had of the different regimes. This regime is getting things in place. They're getting a culture in place. But it's still bad, as you can see. And one thing they got to resolve is quarterback. They talk about they want Deshaun Watson here, but what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson because he had 46 masseuses instead of one? I don't know why. I don't know why. You can't just stick with one person.
Yeah, so that's something that Martin Gramatica, the kicker for the Bucs that won in 2002, the Super Bowl, I was on his television show for a little while, and when that whole thing was coming up, he said, I don't understand why this guy who has so much money can't just pay somebody to be his personal masseuse, he's got to go all over the place and have all these different hands on him. That's when things get messy. So he kind of feels like he set himself up for disaster, and that's coming from an NFL player standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope I answered your question. I know that was a long answer, but
I love it.
Y'all just don't even know the level of dysfunction that takes place. But you see it on the field. These things translate to on the field issues, and why this, what I heard last year was COVID helped this team. Normally I cover the Browns, but the past 2 years they've been very tight with credentials and limited access. But they said COVID helped this team be on the straight and narrow and gave them focus because they couldn't do it in person. They said COVID was the best thing that ever happened to the 2020 Cleveland Browns. And we didn't have COVID anymore like we had it before. And you see what happened. So
do you think this fan base has bought into Kevin Stefanski as their head coach, and will he be the future for Cleveland?
I think so. They like Kevin Stefanski a lot. My thing is the play calling. I'm not a huge fan of his play calling. And I believe, especially as a first-year head coach, you need to focus on learning how to be a coach, learning how to manage different aspects of the game. I feel that calling plays is putting too much on you when you already have so much to do. So I wasn't a big fan of that. Last year, Kevin Stefanski was brilliant. He was coach of the year. It was wonderful. He was amazing. And this year, I feel like he regressed. I was talking with somebody and they said he didn't regress. It was Baker Mayfield's inability to be able to execute on plays. But I believe it's everybody's fault.
Right.
So, but the fan base here pretty loves him. He doesn't talk much in his press conferences. He doesn't say anything worthwhile, no good sound bites. I don't like that either. But, for the most part, Cleveland loves him because, his first season, he was a winner. So we hang our hats on those wins, and we haven't had a winning season in Lord knows how long. So we hang our hats on that, and they love him, and everybody wants this team to be successful. That's what they want at the end of the day. But I would say that Cleveland has bought into him. A lot of disappointment with this season. But, it all goes down to execution. At the end of the day, he's not out there, making any of the plays. He's calling the plays. The players have to execute, but Cleveland is in love with Kevin Stefanski.
Nice.
Perfect. All right, Jay. So, what questions would you have for?
I'll just hit some quick. I think we touched on basketball, we touched on NBA, we touched on NFL. Let's take it back to the 2016 World Series, where the Chicago Cubs, although I'm a Chicago White Sox fan, but beat your Cleveland Indians, and the bet between LeBron and Dwayne Wade, where LeBron had to dress up in the Cubs outfit, full gear. He was playing the Bulls. Like, it was a sight to be seen. But I don't know, take me back to that moment. Did you feel like the Indians could pull it off? Y'all could get that win. But then the Cubs, we was on that drought. Chicago Cubs fans, they've been waiting so long, 108 years or whatever.
Let me say this. I never made fun of Golden State being down, being up 3-1 and that's coming back. A lot of people made fun of that. I didn't make fun of that because
I did.
Of course, could happen. See, I didn't, because I live in Cleveland, and we just never know what might happen. So when the Indians was up 3-1, I think America was torn when it came to that World Series, because you had two franchises who hadn't won in a long time. So I think America was torn, a little bit more sentimental for Chicago because it's a bigger city and all that other stuff. So people was probably pulling for Chicago, but I'm sure a lot of people was pulling for us. One thing I always want to ask Tito, and Terry Francona isn't really that nice to me. I'm going to admit that. So I don't really like asking him questions, because me and him, I'll be wanting to throw blows. So I always want to ask him, why didn't he pitch Ryan Merritt in the World Series? If you remember, Ryan Merritt came in against the Toronto Blue Jays and had an excellent game. Now you got Corey Kluber and Andrew Miller pitching pretty much that's your rotation. They're exhausted. They're tired. Why wouldn't you put Ryan Merritt in for one of those World Series games? Because remember, Trevor Bauer sliced off his finger, so he was no good. Tomlin, he had a great game. But just to give Corey Kluber and Andrew Miller some rest, why not put in Ryan Merritt and see what he can do? Even if he got beat up, you still gave them the opportunity to have some rest and rest those arms. So I always wonder, would that have been one of the things that would have maybe sent the World Series to a different place? Because at the end, we saw how Corey Kluber and Andrew Miller, they just ran out of gas. And by game 7, he couldn't locate or anything like that. So I just always wonder that. And I always want to ask him, but I'm like, I don't feel like fighting with him today. I'm so serious, y'all. Y'all just don't know. I'm so serious. I just don't feel like fighting with him. So, that's one of the things I always wonder, could this World Series have went a little bit differently if he had thrown him in there to see how things could have went? Because I thought we had it. People was bringing goats down to the stadium and everything.
Oh no, not goats.
Yeah, they had rented Billy goats and they had them out there.
Man.
So yeah, that was and I was downtown. I didn't have tickets to the game, or I didn't have credentials. I was downtown though, and when that game ended, you could have heard a pin drop amongst people leaving, trying to get out of downtown. And I didn't go to bed until 4:00 that morning, and I was going to call into a talk show, which I never do, but I was just so freaking mad. I almost called in. But yeah. I went to bed. But because I love baseball, it's my favorite sport. It hurts. That one hurts, yeah. And also losing in 95 and 2000, these things hurt in my core.
See, you grudging up old wounds, Jay. You ain't have to do it.
I'm sorry. I was like, we gotta take it to base. We gotta take it to MLB because we talk NFL, we talk NBA. Right, we're gonna go ahead and do that. I'm not a Cubs fan. Chicago White Sox all day, every day. I actually got married at home plate at U.S. Cellular Field. Okay, so that's how hard outside I am. Okay, but for the city of Chicago, right? I know some really great Cubs fans. I actually I party in Wrigleyville all the time. You know what I mean? There's nothing like going to a Cubs game. Like, it's a whole experience. So shout out to Chicago. I'm glad we did our thing. LeBron looked real good in that Cubs uniform. So I love the bet between him and Dwayne Wade.
We were so close. We were so close. I just, I still can't believe it, but it is what it is. But 2016 was almost the year 216. We got a basketball title. We almost won a baseball title. Remember, our minor league hockey team won the national championship in minor league hockey, and Stipe Miocic won UFC. So we were just having a good year. I don't know what we had to sacrifice. Maybe Ohio State had to be sacrificed. But, we had a great year in 2016.
Yes, definitely. It was definitely worth it. But I'm a LeBron fan, so that 2016 year was great for me. And considering the fact I live in California, so it was even better because I was in the room literally during that Game 7 surrounded by Warrior fans disguised as Laker fans, but it's fine. We'll discuss that another day. So when they actually pulled it off, I literally ran around the house like 5 times and was just screaming the entire time. Like, I literally just kept doing it. And like I every day I would just remind them, I'd text them, FaceTime, hey, do you recall what happened a few days ago? Do you remember? Because I can remind you if you don't. It's fine. I went to finish line. I bought all the finals gear. I walked out with it on big petty, like just huge on the petty. So when you're like, I didn't make fun of it, I did. I absolutely thrived off of the petty. But that's me. I'm a LeBron fan. It comes with the territory. So really quick, before we hop into the actual topics, guys, because we do have the college national championship game tonight, Alabama versus Georgia. Quick predictions. Who y'all got? Anybody can go.
I am never going to go against Nick Saban and those 7 national championships, as he's been with Alabama from 2009 to 2020. He is 70 years old this year, and he just signed another 7-year extension with Alabama. I want to say that Bryce Young gets the job done and wins his 8th national championship title. That's my prediction. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to go down to the wire, but I have Alabama and the Crimson Tide taking home the championship.
He just signed a 7-year extension.
So he gonna be senile by the time that contract is up. I just don't understand why. You know what?
It's Nick Saban,
privilege, man. That it is Nick Saban though. You can't be mad at it because it is Nick Saban. So
it is. I'm a jump with Ruth the Truth all day, every day. I just want to say Nick Saban and just drop the mic. Like that's all you. Right?
That's all you gotta say.
That's all you gotta say. I'm gonna put a score though. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say 42-28. But Crimson Tide, Roll Tide, all day, every day. Let's go, Bama.
Oh man, Rachel, what you got? Rachel?
I'm so disgusted by y'all. Oh my god. I hate Alabama. I hate Nick Saban. So I do not want them to win. I'm pulling for Georgia, but I don't think Georgia can pull it off. We already saw what happened in the SC championship game. Georgia was terrible and didn't show up. I'm going to go with Alabama, but I actively look forward to rooting against them.
I just kind of feel like Alabama right now is just firing from all cylinders. That defensive line, their edge rushers are the best in college football right now, and they have the Heisman Trophy winner Bryce Young as their leading quarterback. So I really think that they have a good team for some years to come.
For sure. I'm kind of with you, Rachel. Like I hate Alabama too. I'm not even gonna hold you, but I'm an LSU fan, so it's like it's sore. Every time I hear Nick Saban, I have a chill go up my spine. But I want to root against them, but I can't. Like my better judgment knows better. Like, and plus the thing with Georgia too is like you can't trust Georgia sports. You just can't. It's kind of like Cleveland sports. Like it's sorry, Rachel, but it's kind of like that curse that it just. Whatever can go wrong will go wrong. So it's just like I just know not to put my eggs in that basket. So I want Georgia to win. I'm sorry, but Bama's gonna win. Like it's not gonna win. I don't even want to do a score because it's just gonna irritate me. So
yeah.
But we'll dive right in here. So we got a packed weekend. We just had a packed weekend last weekend with the NFL. As we all know, that was the last week of the season. So now we're getting into the thick of things where it's exciting. The fun time of the year is coming, guys. It's the NFL playoffs, getting ready to gear up for that and going into the Super Bowl. But right now we got, of course, the most exciting round, usually, for me at least, is the wild card round. So we got some exciting games coming this Sunday. So we're gonna do some predictions and kind of just see what everybody thinks. You can revert back to last weekend as far as your predictions as well, but we'll go from there. So the first game we'll start with is the Eagles versus the Buccaneers. Now we all know the Eagles lost yesterday, or was it yesterday? It was yesterday, right? Yeah, it was yesterday pretty handily to Dallas. But they didn't play. Saturday. Okay, so it was Saturday. So they didn't play. They didn't play all of their starters, obviously, because they're gearing up for the playoffs, things of that nature. And then the Bucs, they have their whole debacle with AB and all this craziness. So who knows what I mean? They're all banged up. So who knows what's going to happen with them going into this game? But they still do have that guy Thomas Brady. I'm not going to say his whole name, Pride. I know you're watching, but
Thomas. Wait, is it Thomas Edward Patrick Edward?
Yeah,
something like that.
Edward Patrick Brady Jr. Yes. So Pride is gonna love you, Ruth, just because the fact that you knew his whole name. Like you're gonna be Pride's new favorite. Pride, I hope you were watching that. That was totally for you. So predictions, guys. So like I said, we'll start with the Eagles and Buccaneers. So I'll start with you, Jay. So the Eagles and Bucs. Go ahead. You go
No,
ahead.
I'm sorry. Oh, Eagles and Bucks. I'm like, you do not bet against TB12, right? You just don't. I mean, some type of mirror, like something crazy would have, like the whole, like Tom Brady would have to not play basically for the Eagles to pull off a win. That's just what it's gonna be. They're gonna roll right over them. It is what it is. I mean, I'm gonna just call it early because we're talking about the Bucks, but I would love to see a rematch of the Bucks against the Chiefs. I'm actually, again, I'm rocking this Cowboys hat because I live in Texas and I will root for the team. I just went to the Cowboys game, but Chiefs Nation all day, every day. Kelsey is my white chocolate. You know, I'm just saying, you know.
Y'all gonna kill Rachel over here. Y'all look
But
Rachel kill Rachel.
I would love to see a rematch because, you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's Bucks all day, every day. Score, I'm going to go 28-10. Let's go with that.
Okay, so Jay, really quick before we move on to anybody else, I want to ask you this.
What?
With this whole Buccaneers debacle as far as the AB thing and just them not really being that healthy, they're going into the playoffs kind of banged up, really banged up. I mean, a lot of their main guys are going to be down or not even a part of the game at all. Do you think that the whole situation with AB and just how everything played out, do you think that Tom Brady is going into this playoff run with a little extra steam, a little extra motivation, you know, maybe to prove AB wrong or to prove people wrong? Like, is that something that he's thinking about consciously going into this season, not even just going into this game in particular? Because I think we're probably all on the same page that they're probably going to beat the Eagles more likely than not. But do you think that all of this is going to add extra motivation, or is this just he's just going to be typical Tom Brady, or like, are we going to see that is he going to reach into that inner, like that Michael Jordan competitive kind of competitive spirit? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he's TB12. I think he just quiets the noise. I think the Antonio Brown, like, we're all hyped and hipped about it, and everybody's talking about it. And of course, he said his piece in the press conference and everything like that. But no, he's in game mode. We're in the playoffs. We're going to get it. That's a distraction that's here or there. Hey, his guys are banged up. Tom Brady makes people somebody by throwing to him. So hey, oh boy out, next man up. He gonna throw it, he gonna get you the ball, just catch it and do what he do. So I don't think there's anything like that's the whole, he ain't even worried about Antonio Brown. He's like, all right, he off the team. Who I'm throwing to? Who gonna catch this ball? Who's the next person? He ain't worried about that. Like, that's, you know what I mean? It's chatter in the background. He's in playoff mode, and TB12 is gonna do what TB12 does.
Absolutely. So Jay, Ruth, actually, I'll go with you next as far as your prediction with the Eagles and the Bucks. Now, Jay said he's gonna quiet the noise as typical. Just he's gonna be typical Tom Brady. What do you think? Do you think, because I just feel like, you know, Tom Brady is such a competitor, right? Yeah, like we all know that Tom Brady has that fierce competitive passion, as they like to call it. So like, is this something that he's going to be thinking about, just everything that's been going on and going into this playoff run, or is it just going to be focused on the game, smooth sailing, or like what do you think his mentality is going into this playoff?
So firsthand, I live like 2 blocks away from the Raymond James Stadium, and I covered the Buccaneers for ESPN this season, and I was able to be in the same room as Tom Brady in a few instances, and the aura that just radiates off this man is so intimidating. It's insane. Having a conversation with Tom Brady and asking him a question about his health and how he's feeling, and then he flips it on you and asks you how you're doing. I forgot all words. I forgot how to talk. Like, it was the most intimidating conversation I have ever witnessed. And I think Tom Brady just brings that aura, that vibe, and he makes everybody in that locker room a believer. So we got these rookies that's, you know, Bashard Perriman, who had that catch in the end zone and that overtime win over the Buffalo Bills at the Raymond James Stadium. We had Seal Grayson, he got a little banged up last game, and we're not knowing if he's going to come back. But we still got Scotty Miller, who scored a touchdown late in the game the other day. We got Tyler Johnson. We also have Mike Evans, who has had 8 straight seasons with 1,000-yard receiving from scrimmage. So it's absolutely outstanding what he's been able to do with what he has. And that whole AB situation, I knew, I hate to say it, but I told you so. I told you so. I knew when AB, when Bruce Arians went on the record to say that he wasn't going to sign Antonio Brown, he didn't want that drama. He already witnessed it firsthand when he was with the Pittsburgh Steelers as an assistant coach. He didn't want that noise over here, and I agreed with him. But Tom said, I want that guy. We're going to call him. He's going to be here to help us win a Super Bowl. And they got the job done in the 2020 season. I think the moment that Antonio Brown put that championship ring on his finger, the egotistical maniac overrode everything. The whole, you're not a part of a team. It's all about him. He's just too egotistical to be on a championship team. So I'm glad that he's out of the locker room. I think the way the whole thing went down was completely obnoxious. And I think it just adds fuel to the fire. Tom Brady's going to get it done, whoever he has in that locker room. And he just brings this confidence with him that when Tom Brady talks to you and says, you're my guy, next man up, you're my guy, you're going to get it done. So I think Tom Brady and, with his supporting cast, they're going to have an easy win over the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
All right. What about you? What about you, Rachel? I'll address you with the same question. You can give your prediction as well. But is Tom Brady going to be a little extra? Does he have an extra chip in the shoulder with this season and just how everything has gone down, or is it just going to be typical Tom Brady?
First of all, let me tell y'all something.
What's all this? What's all this, sis?
What's going on?
Gotta check your nails. Gotta check them out. What's going on?
I hate Tom Brady.
Oh, Lord. See, she feels the same way I feel about LeBron. So there you go.
Hey, whoa.
Where did Tom Brady go to school at, though?
Michigan.
I'm a Ohio State Buckeye.
Oh,
so
there you go.
That's where that
hate goes way back.
It runs a little deeper.
That's number one for me. So Tommy terrific. I wouldn't be scared of him. He ain't putting no aura on me. I ain't trigger Tom. Let's go. I'll go deep, Tom. Let's go. Let's throw a pass. Get you, Tom. Yeah, my heart of hearts. Remember when Tampa Bay Buccaneers sucked and they had the
like 3 years ago? Like what? 2 years ago?
Yeah, Tom Brady got there.
Yeah, before Brady showed up.
But they sucked for years and years and years, especially when they had ugly orange uniforms with the little orange man.
Oh, the creamsicles.
Yeah,
you weren't digging the creamsicle?
Yeah.
Nah, man. Yeah, that wasn't it. That wasn't it.
Then they made it come up. How they had won Super Bowls before the Browns. But anyway, I digress. They're going to go ahead and get it done. You don't bet against Tom Brady and when the game is on the line and clutch. And he's playing. He has already solidified his legacy, but he's playing for even more legacy and wants to show the world that he can do something that nobody else has ever done before. So
with no training camp, with no preseason, with nothing, with brand new weapons, he was able to win a Super Bowl in their backyard. Outstanding.
Yeah. So for sure. I feel like it's pretty much going to be much of the same. I'm going to be rooting for Philly. I'm gonna be rooting against Tom Brady. I'm always gonna root against.
Oh yeah, you got two Cowboys fans. You can't do that. You see the jerseys. You see the jersey and the hat. You can't do that.
I root for the underdog a lot. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I root for the underdog.
I mean, you're from Cleveland, so you kind of
natural. It comes natural.
You understand why.
Exactly.
But, Tampa Bay is going to go ahead and handle their business as they march towards the NFC title and possibly the Super Bowl again. I'm looking forward to that matchup against Aaron Rodgers, but that's a little bit down the line. But Philly is going to lose, unfortunately. You said do a score prediction. I'm going to say 37-21.
All right, we'll give Jalen Hurts like his 2 rushing touchdowns. Maybe he'll throw a pass to Devontae Smith. That's about it. Cutting it short. They're gonna have all their heyday in the first half, and then the second half is just gonna be a blowout.
Petty vibes with that because Dallas fan. I get it. I understand. Now, really quick, because we know we all spoke on the AB situation, and I mean, I pretty much have the same prediction as far as the game. Like the Bucs are gonna win. We all know this. Like, Tom Brady's not going to lose to the Eagles. It's just not going to happen.
But how crazy would it be if he lost, though?
That would be
I think the world would stop.
Considering the fact that he won a Super Bowl against them, lost a Super Bowl against them, and then if he loses this one again, like that would be insane. And just because you said it, I feel like it could happen now. Because just because
thanks a lot, Ruth.
You put it out in the world, like it's now. It's a possibility. Like now we're gonna be in the group chat. Like Ruth, remember what Ruth said?
Ruth just left the group chat.
Right, Ruth has left the building. No, but I mean, honestly and truly, I think, like I said, they're gonna win this game. I think the Eagles still have a ways to go. before they are a serious contending team. But what I will say that they can hang their hat on is I do think that they found their quarterback of the future, Jalen Hurts, because he is playing with a lot more confidence. He seems to have pretty much got a hold of that locker room, which is very important when you're a young quarterback leading a team. So if they can just get a couple more pieces, then they'll be right there. But as far as right now, and with this matchup coming up this Sunday, I do believe that the Buccaneers, of course, they have the advantage. They have Tom Brady. Love him or hate him, he's still Tom Brady. Like, at the end of the day, we all know his work when it comes to the playoffs. Score prediction. Ooh, score prediction. I don't know if I have one, because that's such a talk. Like, it can go so many different ways with that one. But I'll say it's gonna be close. It might be a close game just because it is Philly, and they're gonna make it competitive, I believe. So I'll go 31-27. Now I want to touch really quick before we go to the next game, because like I said, we all talked about the AB situation. Do you guys think that he's done in the NFL? Like, does he get another opportunity? Just because we know how the NFL is. We've seen worse, honestly. Believe it or not. Antonio Brown ain't the worst to come out of the NFL. But do we think that he gets another opportunity with another team next year, like to be a main focal point of a team, or is it a wrap for him? Like, what do you guys think? I mean, because he did go. Now this is a little bit different because he did go after Golden Boy, which is Tom. He went after GOAT. So he you know what I'm saying, he drove the bus over him, he backed it up and drove it over him again. So what do you guys think that he has another opportunity to play again in the NFL, or is it over for him?
Roger Goodell, if you're listening to this, which I know you are, because this is one of the most amazing podcasts I've ever been a part of. Great panel.
Talk that talk, Ruth.
But you need to shut the door on the AB conversation. Let him go fight Jake Paul in some pay-per-view and get him the hell off and out of the NFL. He is clearly all about himself. He's starting a new rap career. So go ahead, boy. Bye.
No, the fight Jake Paul is the fact that that's so accurate is just really it's really concerning, because it's gonna happen. Like, I promise you, we're gonna see in the next couple weeks Antonio Brown versus Jake. I promise. Ruth, you might be able to tell the future, sis, because I just know that that's gonna happen now. Like, I feel it in my bones.
You heard it here first.
At the Sports Senseis, where we predict the future. But what do you ladies think? Rachel and Jada, does the Antonio Brown get another opportunity, or is he gonna become
AB to the XFL? I love that.
Or is he gonna become an Instagram influencer? Because I feel like that's the next opportunity for AB after the NFL.
Well, I was just going to say, like, I think he should just go ahead and hang it up. I think he's ready to go on to his next thing or whatever. Does he still have talent enough to play? Yeah, he's still no, as far as I believe, he's still a number one wide receiver. He does have the talent, but can you stop the shenanigans and just play football? You know what I mean? Start the shenanigans afterwards. Like right. Just finish, do a couple more years, and then get all crazy. Like, if you really want to play football, you just walked away from $1 million worth of incentives, right? By doing all that. Oh, your ankle hurt, but you popping up and jumping up and down and egging on. You know what I mean? Like, bro, like, if you don't want to play, don't play. Like, you know what I mean? Like, save the antics for later and get your money, and you know what I mean? Play for a couple more years, then go do crazy stuff. But I think they're gonna be like, we're done. They've seen way too many things, fake vaccination cards. What he do when he
right then and there?
Yeah, man.
A couple years back, whatever, when he went to go to the ice thing or whatever it was called, but like it's just always something with him. And who wants all that drama and all that time, bro? Like, they should be like, chuck the deuces and adios, you go.
Well, we can't say that AB is not talented. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, but it gets to a point where it's like, do you want the production, or do you want to deal with the drama queenness? You got to pick one. And if you can't make it work with Brady, and if you can't make it work in Tampa, where everybody's in a good mood because it's always bright and sunny and beautiful, then I don't think you can make it go anywhere. We saw him with Pittsburgh for 9 seasons. That had a bad falling out. I think Michael Tomlin is one of the best coaches in the NFL, and he couldn't set him straight. And then he goes to where? Was it the Raiders after that? Yep, and then he goes with all that hubbub, calling out his teammates, recording his John Gruden as he's having a locker room conversation, all that BS. And then he goes to New England for, a week? And Brady got a little bit of a taste, threw him a touchdown pass in the only game that he played in New England jersey. And then all those sexual assault allegations came out, and Bill Belichick was like, I don't want to deal with this. So he got rid of him. So did I expect AB to even sign in Tampa? No. But you know what? You got your ring. So get the heck on.
Yeah, I just go ahead, Rachel. You go ahead first.
No, this one is a tough one because he's like Baker Mayfield, except for he's nowhere. Baker Mayfield is nowhere near on the level of AB. He's a very polarizing figure, and the talent is there. Cleveland Browns can use a wide receiver, quite honestly. This is the NFL in which people are given multiple chances. So I see him being with another team. Heck, even the Kansas City Chiefs could pick him up. Who knows? You look at what happened with Tyreek Hill, and now everything is going well with that. So, another millionaire. I feel sorry for, even though I'm a thousandaire. Because I don't know what's going on. If there are some mental health issues, he needs to get help. But there's just been incident after incident in which, like you talked about, the way he left the Steelers, the way he left New England. I mean, if Bill Belichick couldn't do anything with you, if you couldn't fall in line under that, and then, being there in Tampa Bay, there are some issues and some problems that are not being addressed. And one thing, in the Black community, especially when it comes to men, is mental health and those problems and issues not being addressed. And we're kind of seeing we're kind of seeing those issues come into play very publicly. But I hope that, he can get the help he needs and he can be a productive member of society and he can be a productive member of the NFL. I don't know what's wrong. Supposedly, he's injured. There's four sides to every tale. His side, their side, the BS, and the actual truth. But I do believe that he will play in the league again. I do believe that.
My gosh, my friend played a really sick joke on me the other day after AB was released by the Buccaneers. She made a graphic, and she's really good with the whole Photoshop stuff. She made a graphic of AB signing with Dallas and sent it to me. It was like, congratulations, you got your new slot receiver with Michael Gallup out. I jumped out of bed at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I had to run to my computer, do my research, and then oh my gosh. I was like, I would have personally called the mother effing Jerry Jones myself and told him that he has lost his goddamn mind. Because there's no way that we need that noise in the locker room. Because the man
right now, especially
the man is poison.
Now.
But I mean, I want to kick it to you ladies with this question. We see his talent, we see the numbers, we see the production. Obviously, anybody looking at just the numbers is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. But do you think the drama that comes with AB are going to hurt his chances of being in the Hall of Fame? Because, I mean, people want to talk about, Aaron Rodgers doesn't deserve to be MVP because the way he threw his team under the bus and the incidents with the front office and all that kind of stuff. But do they really take that into perspective when it comes to choosing a Hall of Famer?
It depends on who you are, I feel like. With Aaron Rodgers, it's not going to be the case because it's Aaron Rodgers. Regardless of what he says, what he does, he's another NFL golden boy. So they're not gonna punish him the same way that they would do it. Like they're gonna do like an AB or I don't think Odell's gonna be a Hall of Famer, but just to throw a name out there, somebody like Odell. Like if Odell was to do what Aaron Rodgers did, then yes. But if it's Aaron Rodgers, no. Like at the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers is gonna be in the Hall of Fame, irregardless. Like it's just what it's gonna be. Now, as far as AB. Like they're gonna do him like that. I mean, look at what they did to Terrell Owens. Like Terrell Owens had a lot of drama with him too. But Terrell Owens, one thing you could never say is that he didn't show up to work. You know what I'm saying? Like he made it show up with some drama and some BS, but he showed up. And when he showed up, he played hard. He played great. You know what I'm saying? He never, pulled an AB where he left in the middle of the game and left his team high injured. Like he's never. You know what I'm saying? Like he had his own antics himself. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't perfect, but he never took it to that extreme. And I think the fact that he's burnt himself with so many different franchises because unfortunately they're going to consider that as well, being that you've been on so many different teams. They're going to talk to those teammates and those coaches and et cetera, as far as going into the Hall of Fame process. So being that that's going to be a part of it, it's definitely going to burn his chances because you burnt yourself at every single stop. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not a situation where, one or two teams, like every team has said the same thing about you. Like you've had the same issue at every single stop. So I definitely think that that's going to play a part. I mean, he has the numbers, but I'm not just the way that he's acted and how he's acted out and the whole calling people out thing. Like there's so many different layers to the drama that is AB. And I feel like that's going to be a huge deciding factor as far as him going into the Hall of Fame. Like I said, he can have the numbers all day, but unfortunately, how you treat people and the effect that you leave on people as far as your teammates and coaches and things of that nature, it is a part of the Hall of Fame process. It just is. And right, wrong, or indifferent. It just is. And for AB, that's not good because it doesn't, the resume don't look good right now as far as public opinion. So, I think that definitely, I mean, I'm not sure if I don't know. Like, I'm not sure if he gets in, and I wouldn't be surprised if he did eventually get in. But I definitely think that they're gonna punish him. If he does, it's gonna be a while before he does.
A while from now, I guess let the dust settle, let everybody forget about all the BS, you know. But I honestly think AB in the NFL is it's a Rihanna Chris Brown situation. They're just toxic for each other.
That is a good compare.
Girl, taking it back.
That's why they call me the truth.
man,
love it. AB better be glad this is not the baseball Hall of Fame because he definitely will be getting in.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But I do think really quick before we since we're on AB, like before we move on, I want to say this. I do think that, like Rachel was saying, he does get another opportunity because this is the NFL, which is the land of 15 chances instead of second chances. And considering the fact that he's, like I said, unfortunately AB ain't the worst that we've heard of. Like, there's literally been domestic abusers that got to play again. There's been, convicted sexual assault got to play again. You know what I'm saying? Attempted murder got to play again. Like, he's not the worst of the worst that we've gotten from the NFL. And he still, like Jay was saying, still has the talent. So as long as you have talent, somebody's going to be like, well, maybe if we can fix him. Yeah, maybe we can fix him. Like, and I mean, it might be a desperation team just to, kind of crank up maybe ticket sales or something like that.
Not Dallas. I repeat, not Dallas.
Now, Jerry Jones crazy, but
we ain't hurting that bad. Jerry, no, don't do it.
Jerry crazy, but he ain't that crazy. But no, I definitely think he gets another opportunity. Now it may be a while, but I definitely do think that he is gonna.
He's 33 years old, like, so it's like
he's still like, he's not super old, like I said, and he's still productive. As long as you have production, you're gonna get, like, he's gonna get a call eventually. Like I said, it may take some time, but somebody's gonna be like, okay, well, maybe since he sat out for a while, he might have learned his lesson, and they're gonna give him an opportunity. So I definitely see him getting another chance. Now, how long it lasts?
Yeah,
that all depends on AB.
That's the real question is how long it'll last. But so moving on from there, we will get into the good stuff, the juice, the good game, the game that everybody's counting on, because whether you love to love them or love to hate them, it's the Cowboys versus the 49ers. Now, this game is going to be epic because the Cowboys haven't been in the playoffs in a while. And they don't have a playoff win in a while either. But hey, I mean, hey, well, we just, it's there's the stuff. It's just the stuff happening. But so, everybody wants to see how Dak is going to fare in the playoffs. Like I said, you either want him to win or you want him to lose. It's in between right now. But the 49ers are a good sleeper team. They've kind of come out. They've kind of just been waiting in the Abbeys a little bit, just waiting to pounce, and they're clicking on all cylinders at this current moment. They just had an impressive win yesterday against the Rams, a good comeback win, and their defense is looking incredible right now, and they're completely healthy. So, Cowboy fan, Ruth the truth.
Oh Lord,
there we go.
We need a prediction. We need a score. And if you want to throw a little friendly wager in there, we can do that too.
Ooh.
I stopped, like I talked about before,
girl,
I
so
stopped when it came to the sports betting. I don't do none of that anymore. No sports betting.
I actually have retired. I hung my jersey up.
I like to talk a lot, but I'm not putting money where my mouth is. That's for sure. The Dallas Cowboys are in for a treat because the San Francisco 49ers are getting healthy at the right time. And when it comes to the NFL and going into the playoffs, it's all about who has their starting weapons when the time counts. And Jimmy Garoppolo and supporting cast with George Kittle with a dominant defense, it's going to be a tough day in AT&T Stadium. And Dak Prescott, the way he's been playing, you know, after they went 7-1 after getting defeated by the Buccaneers.
Hold on, Ruth. Freddie, absolutely not. You cannot come on and talk about the Cow. You absolutely cannot do that. But go ahead, Ruth.
Oh, Freddie was trying to come in here. Yo, Freddie, bring it. Let's go. Let's talk about these Cowboys.
Please, this show will be 5 hours if he does that. Like, please don't.
I'll keep it short and sweet. I really think that I'm hoping I'm one of these delusional Dallas Cowboys fans that's hoping that Kellen Moore has some tricks up his sleeve that we did not see throughout this season, because we've seen the Kansas City Chiefs switch up game plans and switch up plays when it comes to playoff times, so no defenses are ready for it. So that's kind of the mentality that I'm hoping, because I don't like what the productivity that I've been seeing offensively. On the defensive side of the ball, Micah Parsons, Randy Gregory, DeMarcus Lawrence, let's get it going. Trevon Diggs with 11 interceptions on the season. Let's get it going. They had a lot to overcome after last season being ranked the 31st defense in the NFL. They had a lot to overcome. I think Dan Quinn has done an outstanding job with that defense, and I really think that the Cowboys have a chance to win. They have home field advantage. AT&T Stadium is going to be rocking. I've been there once this season, and they got almost shut out by the Denver Broncos. It was 0-30 halfway through the fourth quarter. So we can't have a game like that. I know Michael Gallup, one of our main wide receivers, tearing his ACL. That was a huge blow, but like Bruce Arians says here in Tampa, it's the next man up.
Okay, absolutely. Jay, what you got?
We're gonna go back to that. So I was just there day after Christmas against the Washington football team, and AT&T Center, there is nothing like it. Let me say, I've been in Texas for 7 years. I've been in 3 Cowboys games. It gets better every time. There is nothing like being in Jerry's World. It's like pandemonium. Like they gave us the towels. We was woo. So I think just that home field advantage. I was actually happy to see them get the 49ers versus going against the Cardinals. I felt like
I wanted that Cardinals rematch.
Even though the 49ers were healthy, I feel you want that rematch, right?
No, we should have won that game. I'm mad. I'm still mad.
I predicted for them to lose to the Cardinals, so that the fact that actually happened, I was like, okay, because I predicted the Cowboys to go 9-2 after the bye. They went 7-4, right? And I actually predicted for them to lose to the Raiders, and I predicted for them to lose to the Cardinals. I actually thought they were going to beat my Chiefs because of how hot they started. So the game against the Cardinals, you saw them look like how they started the second season, but the game against the Washington football team, I saw everything they can be. I feel like we got to use our run game. We have to. Let's Pollard Zeke. Let's get them going. But Cowboys, I'm like, they're going to win. I always know they can win the first playoff game. That's always, I'm like, I went to I think it was 2018 season, their first playoff game. They played against the Seahawks. They won that game. They always get the first one. I went to that one. They can always get the first one. So I'm not worried about this. I think they take the 49ers. I say it's a close game, 28-21. I don't know, 28 is my number today. I'm an even, but I'm going to say 28-21, but Cowboys got this. I'm excited. I was very happy for them to get the 49ers versus the Cardinals. I felt like that was too much a gamble. Confidence, your psyche might be like, oh, they just beat us and came into our house and beat us. And, Kyler Murray is undefeated going back all the way in high school in Jerry's World. He's like 11-0 or 9-0 in Jerry's World, going back to high school. So no, let's get the 49ers in here. Let's go ahead and take our business and do what we do.
For Kyler Murray, the AT&T Stadium is like MSG, it's like the Garden. Like every time he goes there, it's like I actually would like to just destroy everything. Like I want to ruin the entire time. I want to be I'm actually going to be the greatest in here. Like it sounds cool and everything, but I'm going to be the guy. So Rachel, what do you like? What do you think? So I know, like I said, this is gonna be a big game just because. Here it goes.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
But like so.
Oh, what we doing? We all here. Come on, let's all do it. Hey.
I love this show so much.
Let's do it.
So do you think that is this a flight or fly game for Dak? In your opinion, Rachel, like, is this one of those things where like Dak has to show why he is the $70 million man? Or is it just, you know, if it win or lose, it's going to be the same result? Like, is this one of those defining moments for Dak? Basically, is what I'm asking.
First, before we get to that, so I hate both of them. I hate the Cowboys and I hate San Francisco.
Rachel hates everybody.
I do.
Hate is such a strong word.
They got too many Super Bowls. Okay, they've already won enough. It's time for other people to win. Jimmy Garoppolo is fine. I love Jimmy Garoppolo.
But he tanked in the Super Bowl. He tanked.
Yeah. I'm not rooting for. I'm not rooting for San Fran because he's fine. You know, he is fine. I can appreciate the male specimen.
Yes,
but
what didn't he have a nickname?
Porn star Jimmy.
I know
because he went on a date. He went on a public date with like a famous porn star. Like, oh my gosh, that was a bad. I don't know if that was like a publicity stunt or if he was just trying to get his followers up on TikTok. I don't know, but that was.
My feelings was hurt. I was so disappointed.
Jimmy said he don't discriminate.
I know. There's always a chance, right?
Yeah, porn stars need that.
There's always a chance. But as far as Dax goes, I think, with that, I think, it would be that game for him. I think it's a coming out game. It's an opportunity for him to solidify why he is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So I'm actually looking forward to this game. I think I might root for Dallas a little bit over the San Francisco 49ers. I've just hated the 49ers since they beat the Cincinnati Bengals. What was it? 89 in that Super Bowl in 89. So I've hated them since then. So I'll be rooting for Dallas just slightly. But yeah, I think it's a game for Dax and a game for this city. Everybody talk about this is America's team, but they haven't won in Lord knows how long. So
95.
Yeah. Thank you. So
Ruth said, I actually know how long.
95.
So I'm waiting to see why this is America's team, because I don't know if you guys know, Jim Rome started calling the Cleveland Browns America's team. He might have fallen back on that a little bit. Yeah, but he had been calling the Browns America's team, but he might have fallen back on that because we sucked this year.
I think if any team deserves the crown of America's team, if we're excluding the Dallas Cowboys, it would probably be the New England Patriots.
I hate them too.
Look at their emblem. That just screams like America with all those Super Bowl rings and Bill Belichick and all that comes with it with Robert Kraft and all that. Gillette Stadium is outstanding. They have like a whole like shopping mall restaurant thing right next to the stadium. Like you don't have to go nowhere. The hotel's right there, everything. So I think if there was another team to be called America's team, it would probably be New England.
Yeah, I wish I could go see that, but I just don't see myself going to Boston for any reason. But
it's a beautiful city, girl.
I love Boston. It is amazing.
Really?
I love Boston.
Yeah. It's an amazing city. Okay.
Yeah. I went for my 25th birthday. Funny story. For my 25th birthday, I met all my friends. Like 30 of my friends came out to Rocco's Tacos, which is a famous tequila restaurant in Orlando. And all I remember is that I had some drinks and I was fed a lot of shots and I woke up in Boston. Like I literally woke up and the pilot was like, "Welcome to Boston. It is 31 degrees outside." And I picked up my head and I'm like, "How did I get here? How did I get here?" And my two friends are sitting in the row in front of me and they turned around and they were like, "Don't even talk to us right now." And I'm like, "Oh, it was that bad?" So we had bought our flights 3 weeks prior. We had bought our flights 3 weeks prior. So I knew I was going on this trip, but I have no recollection of leaving the tequila bar. I woke up in Boston. So whatever happened in between those hours, I guess my friends were like, they had me like they were holding me like this, walking through TSA. Like it was bad. My 25th birthday was amazing. Boston. Yeah, Boston treated me great. I'll always go back to Boston. I love watching the Celtics play. I love going to Gillette Stadium. It's a lot of fun. So you got to give that city a chance.
I need to do it like you did. I need to.
No, I wouldn't recommend it.
Don't do it, Ruth, the truth way. Don't do it that way.
I can't. Okay, so listen, I don't care for either one of these franchises either. I will be all the way honest with you. funny story too. My mom is a diehard Cowboy fan. Like,
smart lady.
All right, Mama Sensei.
listen, and it's like she hates. I raised you, and I'm like, but did you really? It's like, but in her defense, like my grandmother was Thanksgiving was always fun at our house, always fun. But it's gonna be a really close game. Honestly and truly, I think it's gonna be like a slugfest. Just because of the 49, they can so just like like a party for Dak because he's going against a defense. And which they're off. I mean, Dallas's offense has kind of they've been up and down this season. So it's going to be really a testament to exactly what kind of team Dallas really is. I do think Dallas will squeak by and win. I'm not really sure as far as like what score I have, but I do think that the Cowboys, they have a little bit more because the thing with the 49ers is that you can't trust Jimmy G because you don't know which Jimmy G you're getting. You don't know if you're going to get the Jimmy G from Sunday or the Jimmy G from a couple weeks ago. So it's like,
or if his pinky hurts, or like if something happened.
Yeah,
He got bad ankles, man.
Yeah, man, terrible. And that's the only thing with the 49ers is you just can't trust Jimmy Garoppolo, unfortunately. Even as good as that defense is. So I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I can see it even a 10-3, just because, like I said, that defense is going to make things so difficult for that. And but yeah, so like I said, I have the Cowboys winning. I actually want them to win this game so that when they get to the next round, they can disappoint the world. Like that's what I want the biggest disappointment. I don't want the first step disappointment. Like I want the shot to the heart. Like I don't want a leg shot. I want the shot to the heart. You know what I'm saying? I wanted a crushing, embarrassing defeat. But
my feelings are so hurt right now. Sheesh.
I'm just
stop.
Be nice.
Right. What are you saying?
But I thought y'all were gonna win Sunday. I did say y'all were gonna win Sunday. I'm just
so I predicted when this season started, after watching Dak Prescott come back from injury, which I hope he wins comeback player of the year, but I don't know if that's gonna happen anymore. When he went up against Tom Brady in that defense in Raymond James Stadium, and he was able to hold it down, throwing for 406 yards, 4 touchdowns, and just did not rely on the run game that everybody says that he's worthless without. So after seeing that matchup in week 1, I predicted that it's going to be an NFC championship between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Dallas Cowboys.
Ooh,
that
would be good.
For the views, man. For the viewers, everybody's gonna be watching that game.
I ain't mad at whoever wins.
That's the Super Bowl. That's the Super Bowl right there.
You know what I mean? Whoever Cowboys, Bucks face my Chiefs, like that's good with me. I'm not mad at that. Ladies. I have to go get ready for Sports by the Numbers on 9:30 a.m. The Answer. Watch us on Facebook, Twitter, live. I got to go get ready for my next show, 8 p.m. Central. See us, but I'll see y'all next week. We got to get, man, we just getting into it.
Day one, baby.
Yes,
day
one. But
all right,
thank you for coming.
All
yes,
right.
Yes, you have fun too. And good luck on your next show, man. We appreciate you coming.
Yes, we'll see you next week. Bye.
All right, for sure. All right. So last NFL game we'll get into before we jump into touch on a little bit of the NBA. Oh, go ahead, Rachel. Go ahead.
So who knocking out Green Bay then?
Ooh.
Me.
That's
a good question. I would hope it would be like LA or somebody in those top 4 seeds. I mean, shoot, we might see the Bucks have to face Green Bay before they get to the NFC Championship game. So, I mean, you already know the type of how Tom Brady brings his A game when it comes to Aaron Rodgers. So, I would probably love to see the Bucks get it done before they make it to the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, Tom Brady plays with Aaron Rodgers like he owe him money every single time.
Yeah,
every single time. I don't know what Aaron said to him or I don't know what happened, but every time they play against each other, Tom Brady's like, "You are going to pay." Like
you're going down.
I'm going to make it, and it's not even to the point where it's like, you know, it's a club. Like he wants to destroy Aaron Rodgers every single time. Like,
they got beef.
they like big beef. Like I don't something happened. I don't know if he stole his girlfriend. I don't know what happened, but it's Tom Brady got something against Aaron Rodgers. It's evident. But
yeah, Damian Hernandez agrees with me that the Rams will knock out the Packers. I mean, I would love to see what happens.
Honestly, I could see that too. I'm not gonna lie, because that's just the thing about the playoffs, just the unpredictability of it all. It is what we love about it. But if it, like I said, it's one of those things with the Rams. It's kind of like the same thing with the 49ers. It depends on what Matthew Stafford you're going to get. Are you going to get the elite quarterback Matthew Stafford, or are you going to look like he kind of look like Jay Cutler? Yeah, like the Jay Cutler kin Matthew Stafford, because he has those moments sometimes where he just looks so like he doesn't belong there, and it's like, sir, like, we got to pick it up. But so we'll do since we're doing the Sunday games, we'll do the last matchup. We got the Steelers and the Chiefs, and I'm so mad Jay had to leave before we got to her Chiefs. But what do you guys predict with the Steelers and the Chiefs? Because the Steelers actually did beat the Chiefs this season.
They did,
and they're one of those sleeper teams too. They're kind of clicking at the right time. So, do you guys think the Steelers have a chance to beat the Chiefs, or because the Chiefs have been struggling, they haven't looked like the Chiefs of the last 2 years. They don't look as dominant or as as untouchable as before. They definitely look beatable. So do you guys give the Steelers a good shot at beating the Chiefs, or?
I love Big Ben. I love what he's done with the last 18 seasons of him being in the NFL, but I think it's going to be an easy exit for the Steelers in round 1 against the Kansas City Chiefs. And I hate to say it, Big Ben, because I'm a huge fan, but Patrick Mahomes and that offense,
my homeboy,
Steelers secondary is going to have a lot of problems. And if they have their running backs healthy as well for Kansas City with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, it's going to be game over. It's going to be an easy win for Kansas City, and it might just give them that momentum that they need in the AFC playoffs to make it to a championship game.
What about you, Rach?
I hate them both. That's not new.
Yo, she don't like nobody.
No,
I don't like anybody that beats the Browns. So that's like every team in the NFL.
Oh, well, that's why you don't like Noah. You could have led with that since we'd have understood at that point.
I do like Lamar though. I like Lamar, Jack. I like Lamar. So, but
who doesn't like Lamar? I got love for that guy, man. He's awesome.
I just, to me, I just love him as a player. So,
what about that game last season where it was the Browns and the Ravens, and they were going tit for tat, and all of a sudden Lamar got hurt and he left, and then he came back to win the game. You still like Lamar after that?
I did, because it was one of the best NFL games in history.
It was a really good game.
So
I was glued to the TV. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go to the bathroom, but I'm not going anywhere right now.
So everybody kept saying he went to the bathroom. I heard he was getting fluids or whatever.
He might be. Yeah. So, that it's always interesting when players go to the back and then they just come back all of a sudden. It's like, did you have to
Paul Pierce in a wheelchair?
Like, did you have to check the DM? Like, I feel like they just be back there checking their DMs or seeing, like, making sure, like, they side piece ain't sitting next to the wife at the game. Like, I just feel like some of that's like when you go and come back that quick, like, come on, man. Like, it can't. You wasn't hurt. Like, you just wanted to get a little breather, a little extra time, a little something. Like, that's what I think.
Trace McSorley take a couple snaps.
Yeah, just take a few flicks. Like, did you get my outfit today? Like, did you make it? Like, that's what I think. But go ahead.
I was so mad when he came back. But yeah, so I'm gonna go with the Kansas City Chiefs. It's hard to bet against them. Former Super Bowl champs, and they know how to bring things together at the right time. A matchup nightmare for everybody is Travis Kelce and, that Patrick Mahomes connection, second to Mark Andrews and Lamar Jackson.
Yes.
I agree with a lot of things that Ruth said. But I don't give him any chance at all. And I know it's Big Ben's swan song. I'm not a fan due to the off the field issues that he's had. So, I'll just leave it at that, but not a fan. Don't want Pittsburgh to win. And they are a division rival, but I hate the Chiefs too. I used to be a Chiefs fan until they won that Super Bowl, and then they beat us and knocked us out the playoffs. So,
I think it's going to be an easy win for the Chiefs as well. I think. I mean, like I said, granted, the Steelers did give them. They did beat them in the latter half of the season, but I do believe that the Chiefs are the Chiefs still. I feel like Patrick Mahomes is going to be. Oh, I gotta plug in my computer. It's gonna be. Patrick Mahomes is old, you know what I'm saying? Playoffs is usually where he shines the brightest. And he is actually healthy going into this playoffs opposed to last year's playoffs when he wasn't as healthy. So I think, and being that it's Big Ben Swan song, like I'm not the biggest Big Ben fan, honestly. I'll be honest. I'm kind of with you, Rachel. The off the field issues kind of kill it for me. Like, he's a great player, don't get me wrong, but it's really hard to overlook a lot of those things that happened in his past. But I still believe that the Chiefs end up winning big. I think somebody on the comments actually said 36-10, and I actually agree with that. I think that's about accurate as far as what the game is going to be, because at the end of the day, Big Ben ain't the Big Ben of old. He's just old, and that offense. Yeah, and immobile, which a lot of his what made him great was his mobility, and he's lost a lot of that, obviously, with Father Time is undefeated, as they always say. But I mean, Patrick Mahomes is gonna be Patrick Mahomes, man. Like it just is what it is. Like they're gonna rise and shine to the occasion, because they want another crack at that Super Bowl. So I definitely see them advancing over the Steelers for sure.
Yeah, and let me tell you, sitting in Raymond James Stadium and witnessing the shutout that happened during Super Bowl 55 I couldn't really believe what I was seeing. I didn't know if there was something in my drink, and I was like, is this really happening right now? Like, they cannot get into the end zone. And Patrick Mahomes on his legs, I think they said that he ran almost 500 yards during that game because he was running for his life. So I think a lot had to do,
and he wasn't healthy either. That leg wasn't healthy,
the turf toe that he was dealing with as well. I think they had to do a lot with the off the field situations, with Andy Reid's son going to jail for hitting a car, with putting a young little girl in the hospital, and then with losing their best right tackle as well. I think there was a lot that came into play, and I really think that the Chiefs have a chip on their shoulder, because that was embarrassing.
Definitely, for sure. I definitely think, and that's the reason why I think that this they're gonna get rid of the Steelers easy, because like I said, like you said, actually, Ruth, is because everything that happened in the Super Bowl, like you said, that they couldn't get into the end zone. They had half of their offensive line wasn't even in the game as well. Like people don't even realize that they were missing half of their offensive line, which is what allows them to be as great as they are, and buys Patrick Mahomes time to set up pass plays, and also get make those run plays a lot easier, because he had the protection. And when he was stripped of that, he was out there naked, really. Like, he was out there, with guys that were inexperienced, weren't really ready for the moment, and all of it was just too much for the Chiefs to overcome. So I mean, I definitely think they want another crack at it. So I mean, I think if anybody's coming into this playoffs with a chip on their shoulder, it's definitely going to be the Chiefs, and definitely Patrick Mahomes, because a lot of people are starting to feel like the jury is out on Patrick Mahomes now that he's that pretty much he's been figured out, just because they have struggled so bad this year.
Absolutely, I really think that Todd Bowles, the defensive coordinator for the Buccaneers, wrote the blueprint, and everybody saw it on national television for how you contain Patrick Mahomes. Get him out the pocket, and you apply pressure, and you blitz like a mofo.
Pretty much. You have to
apply pressure. We saw that transpire in the whole first half of this season, because Kansas City, didn't they start like 3-3, or they had a bad first half of the season, so they had a lot of adjustments that were necessary for them to get to the point where they're at now.
Yeah, and Travis Kelce's production is going to be critical for them too, because if you remember with the Super Bowl as well, the Buccaneers were able to neutralize Travis Kelce, which is his main target. Their offense pretty much flows through that guy, and if he can't get going, as we saw in the Super Bowl, it spells bad news for the Chiefs for sure. So if his production is going to be critical for their playoff run, because he means so much to that team for so many different reasons, and not even just for catching the ball, for blocking, for just for taking up a side of the field, because whatever side he's on, he's either going to get that. Like, he's not going to be in one-on-one coverage pretty much, because you can't cover him one-on-one like that. He's going to eat. You know what I'm saying? So. But all right, off of the NFL, I wanted to cover some. We got 2 more topics left. I wanted to cover some quick NBA stuff. The return of the Splash Brothers, guys. The team light skin is back at full capacity. Klay Thompson has returned. You know what I'm saying? He came back over the weekend. He had 17 points. Looked pretty good. Looked fresh for a guy who hasn't played in 2.5 years. Got a dunk, got a couple threes, hit a clutch three. You know, did Klay Thompson stuff pretty much. So what is this going forward? Like, is it because everybody's saying it's Splash Brothers are back? They're the foregone conclusion to win the championship. Is it like that, or do they still have to prove? Is it going to be more difficult than the Warriors of old? But I mean, at the same time, it kind of is because they still have the same nucleus, but with different co-stars this time opposed to the first championship.
I think it's,
like I said, what does this mean for the league and for the Warriors going forward? Like, are they the title favorites or what?
Well, I think the way that they've been able to hold it down with Klay Thompson missing and being 30-9 as he is returning now, 941 days since the last time he played, and that was in the championship game against the Toronto Raptors. So, I mean, they've missed him for a long time, and I wasn't expecting him to ball out the way that he did yesterday. I expected him to maybe have 10 points on the board, maybe play 20 minutes and then sit on the bench. But I was impressed by his technique. I was impressed by the way he was shooting the ball. I was impressed by his confidence. So I think the Golden State Warriors are in a really great predicament because not only were they able to have success without Klay Thompson, but their young rookies are really stepping up. I mean, it's insane what Steve Kerr has been able to do with such a young roster, and obviously bringing Andre Iguodala back to dominate on defense with Draymond Green. I think they're in a really, really good position, and I have them winning the West.
All right, and what about you, Rachel? What do you think about Klay coming back? I saw it in your faces, so I know you hate him because I hate him too. It's fine.
No.
But what do you think about Klay coming back? And like I said, what does this mean for the Warriors going forward?
And then he came back against my team. So, you know,
I mean, yeah, and he he did that.
Yeah.
That's what he did do.
You know, I said, you know, everybody talks about LA, and LA is just terrible. And I'd always said at the beginning of the season, you got to worry about Golden State. So, you know, when LA assembled their team, I think it was supposed to be a super team of old timers, and that's what it looked like. And that's how they're playing. You know, LeBron is playing out of his mind. But I was telling everybody at the start of the season, you got to worry about Golden State and the way they're looking right now. So, like I agree with Ruth that they're going to come out of the West. Golden State's just too good. Klay, happy he's back. Not happy he came back against my team last night. And Kevin Love gave him a really long hug, and I'm like, "Why are you doing
I peeped that?
Yeah,
she said, "Why are you doing that?
Why
You're doing too much."
He beat us. Like, what is wrong with you? That's supposed to be enemy number one, you know. But you know, whatever. But yeah, Golden State is just too good, and you know, them and Phoenix will be in the Western Conference Finals, and let the best team win.
Yeah, I was impressed with Klay as well. I didn't see him coming back and looking like his normal self, like in the first game back. I didn't see that coming. I thought it may take him some time, being that he did have leg injuries, and he, you know, is a catch and shoot guy, also a defender as well. So I was kind of interested to see exactly how he would look, but he looked good. He looked confident. He didn't look like he was, you know, he wasn't scared to use his leg, because he definitely got it. He definitely dunked on a Cleveland guy. I forgot the guy he dunked on, but he definitely dunked on him. I mean, even though he didn't jump that high, because he ain't the most athletic guy, but that's neither here nor there. But I was definitely impressed by the confidence of just for him to even attempt a dunk like that in his first game back, because as you know, like when athletes typically have leg injuries, like they usually are kind of timid when it comes to driving to the lane because they don't want to risk getting hurt again. But Klay said, F all that. Like, I've been out for 2.5 years. I'm gonna try it. And if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. But so I was definitely impressed by that. I was impressed by the shooting. And I mean, granted, like I said, I'm a LeBron person, so I should hate Klay too. But I was so happy to see Klay come back. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I was excited to see
give
his
the man his
return.
roses.
Man, you see,
that he
he
had
had
a
his
good game.
head
I was
down
happy that the
on.
Warriors get they did. No, they gave him and it's but I can't you can't hate that. Like that's such a feel good basketball story. And like I said,
she said, "Watch me, watch me."
You can't. I mean, you can, but you can, but you can't. Like, you know what I'm saying?
You gotta
like,
have that
I
level of respect, like I said, you know, like.
Yeah,
like he was looking extra hard yesterday too, with his headband on.
He was mugging too.
He was inspired.
He needs a haircut though, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Sit your soft butt down somewhere. You soft. Sit down.
You went to Washington State. Get out of here. Like, you ain't hard.
Honestly,
ain't nobody scared of you, Clay.
And here's another thing too, like a funny story. Like, so I actually had the privilege of meeting Klay Thompson before, and he's actually a really nice guy. Like, honestly, a really, really nice guy. Like, super
my
chill,
ex-best
super
friend
humble.
dated him in college.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. That's her claim to fame. She was like, "We dated for like 2 months." I'm like, okay.
Listen, I would honestly, sis, I'd hang on that. I hang on to that too. I'm not even gonna lie. But no, like I said, he's a really cool dude. He was really humble. Like, he's not, the typical NBA superstar you would think. But like I said, it was definitely feel good, and I was happy to see him come back. For me, if Klay continues to play this way and he can stay healthy, it is definitely scary hours for the league, because Steph has already been playing out his mind already. The Warriors have already been clicking on all cylinders already. They already look like a great team even without Klay. So to add a dynamo like Klay, to pretty much have that's like having a spade in your back pocket, and you put it on the table and like, actually I had this left, like, you know what I'm saying? And that's where it's gonna be an interesting season. But like I said, the Warriors are right now, they're in the driver's seat, because they've been looking like the best team all year in the NBA. So and I hate to say that, because like I said, I'm LeBron till I die, but I gotta be honest. The Warriors, it's gonna be like Rachel said, it's gonna be the Warriors and the Suns in the Western Conference Finals. And that's going to be a shootout, man. That's going to be a shootout.
Right. I love the audition of Andrew Wiggins for the Golden State Warriors.
And he's been playing great for them.
He's excelling, and he fits into that offense so perfectly. Mm-hmm. So I really think that starting lineup for Golden State is something serious and should not be taken lightly.
Not at all. He's been playing great for them, and they also get Wiseman back next week as well. Mm-hmm. So they have that. Draymond has been defensive wise has looked like a monster this year. Like, he's looked so. I've been so impressed with him on the defensive end, and just being back into his natural role. Because a lot of people were saying that he was washed up. I didn't believe that. I just think he was kind of playing out of his jurisdiction a little bit, just because he had to overcompensate for what they were lacking at the time. Yeah. But now that they have everybody back, he's more back into his natural role of being the dirty work guy, like the utility guy. Like, he can just do so many different. He just does so many little things, but they're so important, and you don't realize they're important until you kind of put it in totality of what exactly he means to that Warriors team.
That pick and roll between Draymond and Steph Curry is undefeated. They got that down to science. It's undefeated. So,
you can't stop it, because they can do it in so many different ways, and I mean, they do it. Like I said, it's undefeated. It's the most unstoppable move in basketball, period. Like, that pick and roll is going to always be like, it's the knife in the heart every time, because they always do it at the most inopportune time for the opposing team, and it's like a demoralizer. Like, once it happens, that's when you know it's over. Once that pick and roll comes, when he does the little flick behind the back and Steph comes off the screen, once he let it go, it's over with. Like, it's done. But speaking of returns, Kyrie Irving came back for the Brooklyn Nets. Now, he's only a partial member of the Brooklyn Nets, because he can only play in certain games.
Which makes no sense to me. Because what happens in the playoffs when you go on a 7-game series and you're not going to have home field or home court advantage because you don't have your best player there? Like, I'm sorry, this makes no sense. Am I happy that Kyrie's back on the basketball court? Absolutely. I think he's one of the most talented point guards in the league, and you got to give him his flowers, absolutely. And I stand by Kyrie because I love the way he left Cleveland and said I can do it without LeBron. So
and didn't do it, and didn't do it, and didn't do it, and didn't do it, and didn't do it.
But
I want the record to reflect that he did that and didn't do it. And not only did he not do it, he called LeBron to apologize because he realized he couldn't do it.
He put his foot in his mouth for sure. But his return to the Brooklyn Nets is crucial. I think Kevin Durant, James Harden, they're a triple threat. And I really think they need Kyrie, especially when it comes to the playoffs, because we saw how that turned out for the Brooklyn Nets when Kyrie was hurt. They were shoe size away from making it to the Eastern Conference final, to making it to the finals. So
man,
it's a tough situation.
Literally.
He said Kyrie, the flat earther.
Kevin Durant, if he could have just got his foot behind the line.
A shoe size, man. If he wore a size 14 and not a size 18, they would have won that game.
Even like a half a size, because it literally was like this much.
This pinky toe.
Literally this much. But yeah, so I mean, what do you guys think it means for the Brooklyn Nets? Because like you said, Ruth, like he's only there pretty much for away games. He can't play any
part-time employee.
He's a part-time employee, like literally.
It's so weird.
Part-time, like he can't get no benefits. Like if he was in the real world, there's no benefits. There's no
insurance
time, no sick days. The 401k is not on the table. Like it's not there because you're a part-time worker. So I just want to know, like. Because the chemistry for them, like, do you think that that's going to bother because my thing is this. I think that chemistry matters. And it matters especially when it comes to the playoffs. And, like, when you're going for that championship run. Like, every team that's won a championship has great chemistry. And they have, they click on all cylinders. But that requires all the players to be there all the time. Like, that means from training camp up until, even if, what I'm saying, because you're going to have injuries throughout the season. That's just how it goes. But being there, the energy being there, and Kyrie's energy hasn't been there. And then you bring him back and he's like, it's only there for a certain amount of time. Like I said, he can only participate in away games. So do you guys think that that's going to have an effect on how their playoff run goes? Like, do you still think that they can make a deep run in the playoffs with Kyrie being a part-time worker?
I mean, we saw Kevin Durant and James Harden carry a lot of the weight in during the playoffs run when Kyrie wasn't available. So, but I just don't think they can get to that next level without Kyrie. I think he's going to be that missing piece. And this whole situation with going in a 7-game series and you don't have him for half the time, I think that's going to come back to biting him in the butt. I honestly think that Kyrie is going to end up getting the vaccine when it comes to that point in time, because the man wants a ring. The man wants a championship. You have James Harden. You have Kevin Durant. You have a great coach. You got to get it done now. So I think Kyrie, is going to turn his heart eventually, especially when that deep run in the playoffs come.
He's going to get that vaccine. Kyrie's going to get the vaccine. They need him. And, I look at it as, obviously this vaccine has been politicized, but, he's left his team and his team needs him. This is your profession, and, your team needs you. And, one of the reasons why they lost, he was hurt, but that just shows, you guys talk about his, Kevin Durant's shoes and stuff like that. I'm glad they lost. I was rooting for Milwaukee.
I was too. I was actually in LA at that time, and I was like in the hotel room, like watching the game with some friends, and we were like all screaming because we all wanted Milwaukee to win too.
Yeah.
So but Kyrie, he's desperately needed by his team, and if they want to win and make a run, that is something that they're going to need him for. So I do have a feeling he's going to end up getting that vaccine because he needs to get it. And it's just great to get it health-wise. But in order to play this, it's not going to survive him being a part-time employee, which is funny about not getting a benefit. He can get his COVID shot for free. That's part of the benefit plan. But,
I disagree. I don't think he's gonna get the vaccine. I think
You
Kyrie
don't?
is because I think Kyrie is one of those guys that if once he sticks his foot in the sand and decides something, that's where he stands. I think Kyrie is very much in his own mind, and he feels like he's smarter than a lot of people. Which and that's well within his right. Like I don't knock people who have the vaccine. I don't knock people who don't. Like that's their personal decision. But I think personally, in Kyrie's mind, Kyrie is going to bank on Kyrie basically. Like he doesn't really care about anybody else or like his team needing him. Don't really, in the grand scheme of things. Excuse me. Sorry.
Bless you.
Thank you. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter to him as far as like public opinion or his team needing him or him being the main factor. What matters to him is what is in here. And what is in here is telling him that the vaccine is something bad, and like he for whatever health or religious reasons or what. Like if there's a lot of things that factor in as to why Kyrie didn't want to get the vaccine in the first
think it comes down to the mandate. I honestly think Kyrie just doesn't want to be told what to do.
And that's.
But I have a question. If New York is requiring these NBA players to be fully vaccinated before stepping into the arena, are we seeing a lot more NBA players sitting out because it's not mandated by the NBA? So I know not 100% of these NBA players are all vaccinated. So is that coming into play when it comes to away teams coming to Brooklyn as well? Do we see players having to sit out because they're not?
And that's where it kind of gets interesting too, is because we don't really know what what the qualifications as far as like the vaccine and the mandates are for each state. Or for the NBA itself, because the NBA said that they weren't going to force guys to get vaccinated, but then you had guys coming out and said that they didn't want to get vaccinated for religious reasons or whatever the case, and then ended up getting vaccinated. So is it one of those things where that's what I'm saying? So is it one of those things where they're saying it's not mandatory, but then behind closed doors, they're like, you need to get this vaccine or what's going to happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that.
Like, you want this 18 mil? You want this? Okay.
And that's why I feel like Kyrie is gonna buck the system and be like, because like you said, Ruth, he doesn't want to be told what to do, number one. And number two, don't present something one way and then it's another way behind closed doors. If you told me that I didn't have to get vaccinated, then it should be that. But you know what I'm saying? But then don't come back to me and say, well, if you want to play here, you gotta make sure. Like that's not. You weren't honest. You weren't you were upfront with that. And I think that's the angle that Kyrie is gonna attack it. And if we know one thing about Kyrie, we know this: he's unpredictable. Like at any moment, something could happen in his life, and he's just be like, you know what, I need a mental break. So it's
he's a different cat. He's a different type dude.
Yeah, and you can tell. Even if you don't know him personally, you can just tell by if you've ever listened to him talk any of his interviews, or even like when he did the Instagram lives and stuff prior to the season, but with all this vaccine mess that was going on at that time, like Kyrie's just a different guy. He don't operate the same way everybody else is. So that's why I said the way that everybody else is seeing it and thinking about it, Kyrie's somewhere else with it. Like he's on a completely different plateau. So I don't think he's gonna fold and get the vaccine. I honestly don't. And I think at some point that's gonna hinder it's gonna either hinder them or the Brooklyn Nets are gonna have to make a really tough decision.
Right.
Whether it's gonna be like either you get vaccinated and you be a full participant of this team, or you don't. And you don't participate at all.
Right.
Like I feel like that's what it's gonna end up coming. It's gonna have to end up coming down to that. Because like you said, it doesn't make sense to be there for away games and then home games. It's like, all right, catch y'all next one.
And like he's not even practicing with his teammates as well because he's not allowed in the training facility. So how do you? There's so many factors that play into that situation, and I honestly think Kyrie's going to end up folding, but maybe not. I could be wrong, but we'll see what happens because playoffs is right around the corner.
Definitely, we'll definitely see. It definitely will be interesting. We'll see what happens. But ladies, I want to thank you guys, man. That wraps up the very first episode of the Sports Senseis, the all-female podcast. I want to thank our good sis and our very, very
very patient.
Very patient, and as well as our very hateful guest. No, I'm just kidding.
That's fair.
She really hates everything. No, I'm just kidding. But no, honestly, since
Ohio State.
and Ohio State. But thank you so much, sis, for coming on. We definitely appreciate you being a part of our first episode. It was so great to have you. We definitely got to do this again.
Yes.
We'll definitely schedule this another time. So hopefully, like before the NBA playoffs or like in the middle of the NFL, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But also, Ruth the Truth, shout out to you, sis, man. It was fun. I can't wait for next week. We got so much more stuff to talk about. We got some more special guests coming for you guys. So make sure you guys tune in. This has been the Sports Senseis, our first episode. I'm so excited.
1.
Episode 1. It's just the beginning. We are just getting started. We're going to be on fire all season. So just make sure y'all tune in every Monday, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. I am your host, Sensei, and we are out.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. We talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.